Guys, welcome back to the channel. This right here is going to be a comparison between the C40i's and the C30i's. Now there is a price difference. The C40i's are $100 while the C30i's are $69.99. Now you can go on Amazon and you may find them on sale during holiday seasons, but for right now they seem to be regular price. So let's do a quick spec comparison. If you look over to your left, that's what we're going to talk about right now. So the C40i's have two mics with AI, while the C30i's have two mics. One has button controls, C40i's. The other one has touch controls, which I do have to say that the button controls are much better and easier to use for the C40i's, so keep that in mind. The C40i's have Bluetooth 5.4, while the C30i's have Bluetooth 5.3. Both of them have IPX4, and I have walked outside and, did my exercises and things like that. And I didn't have any issue when it came to sweat or fatigue. Neither one of them fell out of my ear. Now, the battery life does differ a little bit. 7 hours with the C40i's and 21 in the case. So you're getting 14 for the case, 7 for the buds, total of 21 hours. And for the C30i's, you're getting 10 hours, 30 hours total. So you're getting 20 in the case and 10 hours on one charge with the buds, which is not bad at all. You can go through a full work shift by keeping this in your ear if you're listening to music and things like that. While the C40i's, you might have to put them back in the case, but a 3-hour difference doesn't kill anybody, but that 9 hours inside the case is noticeable over time. Keep that in mind, but it doesn't break the bank. Both of them have vibrant audio, 3D sound, though I do have to say they do sound different in profile wise, and we'll go over that in a little bit. Both have 12mm by 17mm drivers, keep that in mind, and both of these have multi-point. So they are packed with many different features. I think both of them are good in their natural light, but I do give the edge a little bit to the C40. And I want to kind of explain that in this video. So with that being said, sit back. There are timestamps for the sections if you want to skip to a part, whatever you want, but I do appreciate anyone that watches this full video. Let's get right into it and talk about these buds. So let's talk about the quality of the buds, each one. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you some of the differences, some of the similarities, and then the differences. So if you flip this over, as you can see, both of them have the sync button on the back. Of course, they both have USB-C. The design of the case is very similar. So anyone switching from the C30i's to upgrade to the C40i's, let's be honest here, it's going to be pretty much the same thing in terms of the physicality of the case, though the bud size does differ, and that's what we need to talk about. So as soon as you flip this open, as you can see right here, they did change the lights, how it looks. You can actually pair both of these while inside the case if need be. And of course, they both have multi-point, so kind of keep that in mind. They both also have the Soundcore application for customization, and don't worry, look at the timestamps, that's there in its video too. So let's talk about the differences of the buds themselves, which is going to be a very long section right here. If we go ahead and look at both of these buds, what do you notice that's different? Well, for one, this is touch controls and this is a physical button. Physical buttons actually work well from my understanding, and this is just from me reviewing stuff. The C30i's had accidental touches on the back of your ear, so it actually fits on your ear, a little tightly, by the way. Sorry, let me move this out of the way. I feel like this is actually making things worse right now in terms of the clarity of the camera. Eventually, I'm going to upgrade my phone. But anywho, touch controls, in my opinion, aren't as responsive as physical buttons. Physical buttons, in my opinion, have always been better. And I like the fact that they incorporated this with this particular bud right here. Now, when it comes to flexibility and size, which I'm going to show you this in another section, watch this. This is the most important part of why the C40i's, in my opinion, outclass the C30i's. You want to squeeze these. Notice the lack of flexibility. When I squeeze this one, complete flexibility. As a matter of fact, I'm going to open this up. Nothing happens. I don't want to snap it, but this is a very non-flexible bud where, once it fits, as long as your ear shape fits this, you're perfectly fine. But if it feels a little bit tight, it might squeeze against your cartilage, or I'm not sure what the different pieces of the ear are called, but it does feel like it pinches your ear, which causes irritation over time. My wife had that issue, and so did I from time to time if I didn't wear it in the right position. Versus the C40i's, which are completely flexible. Look at this. It's so flexible. Watch this. I want to just place my finger inside of it. Bam. Just like that. And no, I didn't say pause. But yeah, it's very flexible. If you try that with the C30i's, it's just not possible. It's just, it is, but it's squeezing my fingertips so hard that it's just like, it's actually hurting my fingertip. This is very inflexible. It's not flexible at all. So most people If you're fine with the C30Is, you're fine with the C30Is. I like them a lot. I didn't expect the C40Is to come out. They just happened to send them to me in the mail one day. I was like, oh, awesome, new headphones, right? But yeah, it became my fan favorite. Even with the worst battery life, this just feels so much better walking every day, at work, at home, you know, just going to the store, shopping at Ross, going to the market. Whatever I plan on doing, it feels so much better. And granted, this does feel a lot looser, but remember, both of these buds come with the clips that fit onto the back of the bud to make it feel a little bit tighter. So if you want that C30i feeling with a little bit relief, you have the option for those bud tips. But outside of that, you know, they're pretty much identical in that regard. And, you know, it's just minor quality of life choices that I do believe make a huge difference with your not only your listening experience, but also how it feels. So with that being said, let's talk about the microphones and let's talk about the fit and feel so you can get an idea of what you're getting yourself into if you buy these buds. All right, guys, so we're going to talk about the fit and the feel and the mic test. Now, the recording that you're hearing right now is the microphone from the C30i, so keep that in mind for this entire section. When it comes to the fit and feel, I don't think that these are actually sit very well inside of the ears, but it is a double-edged sword. What I'm noticing after using the C40i's and other clip earbuds is that these are very, very, very tight against the ears where there's like zero room for it to really move. And sometimes I occasionally had trouble putting it on my ear, so I just kind of had to like grab the bottom of my ear and do that. But for the most part, it is like a one-handed earbud, but some people might have some issues. There is zero flexibility in this bud whatsoever, as you can see, like I showed you guys in the beginning of the video. So it like just one size fits, and that's pretty much it. And if it's too tight for you, the earbuds are basically going to be unusable. Now, for the people out there that like them, I don't have a problem with them whatsoever, but I do want to also say that the touch controls are actually behind the ears, so it might tap the back of your neck right here, which causes the songs to pause and play. It may answer calls, it may accidentally hang up calls and things like that, which did require me to kind of turn off the touch features of the buds, which kind of beat the whole points of having the earbuds. But that's just me. Not everybody goes through this issue. But I do want to say that it does come with ear clips in case this size is too small. But from everyone that I let use these buds, my wife and other people, they all felt like the earbuds felt fine, like as is, but over time they did feel a little bit soreness when they moved back and forth. And that's a big issue for someone that wants to use these for longevity. So kind of keep that in mind. This right here is actually the C40i. And guess what? It feels much more comfortable. And as you see me moving this back and forth, there's a lot more room in the ear because the earbud itself is much wider than the C30i's. In addition to that, it's actually flexible, as you can see. And you can actually press this in if need be. So you can tell that it has flexibility and it doesn't feel like it's pinching my ear. So for the person out there looking for, you know, a headset in the Soundcore Anker department, and you're watching this video because you're wondering which one is better, I'm going to have to go with the C40i's because they feel better. Even though they're a little bit looser, don't get me wrong, that could be an issue for certain people. The ear clips actually make it a little bit tighter, and even with the ear clips, it still feels looser than the C30i's right outside of the box. So they're trying to give you maximum comfort. Now, will this help someone? Absolutely. Will it, you know, for the average person that might be coming from the C30i's going to the C40i's, you may feel like they're a little bit looser initially and that they might fall out, but trust me, they're not. These guys, I sleep with them on, I walk around with them on, I have them on all day long, and they have never slipped off my ear. The only time that it did was when I was taking a shirt off and it just kind of fell off inside of the shirt. But, you know, that's to be expected. You're pulling something over your head or putting something over your head, and, you know, I don't expect earbuds to necessarily sit in place in that regard. But outside of that, they feel better in the ear. They feel a lot, oh my gosh, like I don't feel any pressure whatsoever, and I could wear these for long hours at a time. As a matter of fact, I remember I did a review on the JLab Flex Buds, which are similar to these in terms of fit and feel, and those felt a lot looser than the C30i. So for the person out there going for maximum comfort, definitely go for these. I want to also say that you're listening to these with the sound profile with the C40i's. I'm recording. These are the microphones that are recording right now. So kind of listen to both of these parts of the video to see which sound profile sounds better than you, so you can make the wiser choice of which bud to actually get. So this right here is the app support for the C40i's. Let's run through it real fast. Now, for anyone wondering, I do have full reviews on the channel for the C40i's and the C30i's if you want a more in-depth analysis, but for right now, it's just a quick comparison. So it does show you your actual battery meter for these buds. You get the meter for the actual buds themselves and the case, which is a good thing. You have the sound effects, which is, it comes with Soundcore signature, bass, volume booster, 3D sound, and custom IQ, or EQ, I'm sorry, I said IQ. You actually change it to whatever it is that you want. I don't really use the custom EQs. I just normally use the Soundcore signature or the bass boost, but to each their own. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to this, but I am going to go ahead and keep it on sound signature for the next part, which will be music. Anyway, when it comes to controls, the customization isn't as in-depth as other Soundcore buds, but it is enough for a person that just wants to be able to do a click, a double click, and a click and hold. Now, when it comes to answering and declining calls, you cannot touch that whatsoever. It is pretty much, it's in stone. You can't mess with that. But you can do single press, double press, and press and hold for the left and the right side. But the customization is going to be identical for either side. So for single presses, you have volume up, volume down, pause and play, next, previous, and voice assistant. For double press, same options. It does change for press and hold, which is going to be volume up, volume down, and voice assistant. And guess what? When you hit right, it's going to be the same exact thing for the right ear. Nothing changes whatsoever. So that way that person has full customization, whether you answer it from the left ear or answer it from the right ear. You have the option to do both. Or if you use it in mono mode, which is basically one earbud at a time, it would still, you know, have that functionality. So that's a good thing. You do have dual connections, which is very simple. When you sync the buds originally from the earbuds, all you have to do is tap connect new device. It's going to put the earbuds automatically in sync mode, and then you can go to whatever secondary Bluetooth device and you can sync that. And you can do this as many times as you want to, but keep in mind, well, not as many times within reason, but keep in mind that you can only switch between two buds at the same time when it comes to dual connection. So you have to go to the settings. Let's say you have a Switch, like you see right here. I have a Nintendo Switch, Studio Mini 2023, a different phone, and a Steam Deck. I have the option of highlighting which ones I want this to turn on and use, and then I could just switch between it. Now, the downside with this is that some of these buds, unfortunately, I have multiple Steam Decks, and the buds are synced to multiple Steam Decks. So I don't want it to actually make a mistake and mess up. So I'm just going to hit tap back for right now. But that is how multi-point works. Keep that in mind. You have low battery prompt, which is pretty self-explanatory. It will actually beep and just make a noise to let you know that the earbuds are dying and for you to put them back inside the case. So you'll be good to go from there. Initially, when you first get these buds, you might have to do some form of firmware update, but everything is already updated and good to go. Not much customization, but for the person out there that likes clip headphones, still not a bad buy in my opinion. So we're doing a customization for the C30i's. As soon as you open up the application, you have the left, the right bud, and a case. It does show you the battery life, but unfortunately it doesn't give you the percentage. So that is an advantage that the C40i's actually have. It gives you a numeral percentage of how strong your battery is. Some people will care, some won't. Now you have some of the same features: prompt tone, dual connections, controls, and sound effects. And of course, firmware update, but the earbuds are already updated. I made sure it was before the video even started. So if you go to prompt tone, oddly, the other one doesn't give you this option when I clicked on it. Maybe I have to try it again. Touch tone and low battery prompt. So you can actually hear the touch tone keys click, and you can turn that off if you feel like it's annoying. Now, the reason the C40i's don't have that feature because it's a physical button, so you don't need touch tones. It's just a clicking button. That's one of the reasons. But also to let you know when your headset is about 10%, it'll start beeping and letting you know that it's dying. Both buds do the same exact thing. Also, we have the dual connection. Remember I talked about dual connection? What happens with this is very simple. You tap new device when it's already synced. It's going to automatically put the buds back in pairing mode. If you can go ahead and connect another device. And if you connect multiple devices that are more than two, you can only switch between two devices at a time, and you can manage it through this application. Meaning if you have a Steam Deck, a Nintendo Switch, etc., you can click which two you want the dual connection to work between, and you can just go to the app and switch it at any time. So keep that in mind. Now, for the people out there that doesn't want to use the app, well, you're probably not going to be able to use multi-point, and you're not going to be able to use a custom EQ or anything like that. So the app is 100% free, and you don't have to register. I know I get asked that from time to time. I know registering for apps is a pain for some companies. Anyway, when it comes to controls, you did have single taps. I believe you had double taps and tap and hold for the C40i's. This one has double tap, tap 3 times and hold for 2 seconds. Now, from my understanding, I feel like some people actually didn't like that. In addition to that, you can actually change the touch controls for calls. You couldn't do that for the C40i. So that may be a good thing for certain people, but let me tell you about the double-edged sword about that. Because these are so tight against the ear, sometimes on people's ears, the back of this bud rubs. I can feel it rubbing on the back of my neck right now. That the heat sensitivity can cause accidental touches. So for me, I turned everything off so I wouldn't have accidental touches, and it works well for me. But for someone else, you know, I've heard people speak about how they're accidentally pausing songs in the middle of it playing, and all these different things is happening. And I had to explain to them, you might want to turn that feature off, which they actually use the touch feature, and that kind of beats the purpose of having the buds. So for a person out there that may have experienced the same thing, the C40i's are going to be better for you in that regard. Though, unfortunately, buying constant headphones, no one wants to do that. They just want one earbud that works for them. And I'm going to have to suggest the C40i in that regard. But let's talk about the actual customization. Let's not forget about that. So you have the option for answer, decline, and none. Same thing for both of these. When it comes to the actual clicks for audio, you have volume up, volume down, next, pause, play, voice assistant. Same thing as the other buds, previous, next song. Triple taps, you have the same exact thing. And for the tap and hold, same thing. So all the customization is exactly the same across the board when it comes to the right and the left bud. Let me just show you this real fast so you guys can see that yourselves. Nothing changed. What else is there? That's pretty much it. So yeah, outside of that, the customization is very, very similar. They just updated some quality of life choices for the C40i's, which will make it a better competitor. Now, does that justify the price difference? I'm going to leave it up to you guys to decide, but let's move on to the next section, which is one of the most important sections, and that's going to be the quality of music. The C30i's aren't bad when it comes to the sound profile, but it is a little lackluster in the bass department. So let me kind of explain what you're going to expect with this after comparing the two directly. The C30i's have the louder maximum volume. There you go. Does that mean that that's a good thing? In this case, I don't really think that it is. Well, if you're outside having phone conversations and things like that, I feel like the C30i's are going to be louder in the ear, and it's going to be easier for you to hear things when people are around you in terms of the sound profile. But if we're talking about just the overall quality of the music or whatever it is that you're listening to, the bass is very lackluster, in my opinion. I feel like the vocals, the instruments in the background, the kicks and things like that take precedence over the bass. Bass shit is supposed to kind of mellow out the entire song. But if it feels like a pinch of bass, so for instance, I played Mask Off. Anyone that knows that song knows that's a Future song. I'm not gonna say it's super, super bass heavy, but the bass pronounces how the song moves forward throughout the entire thing. The bass wasn't really present at all. It just wasn't. And given the fact that they're a clip design, I don't expect them to, but it was a lot lighter than what it needed to be. It felt like the other instruments took over the song and bass was basically secondary or like a stepchild in the headset. Now, for some people, that's not going to be a big deal to them. They don't really care. Some people will care. When I switched it over to bass boost, I felt like the entire max volume dropped by about 30-40%, close to that. The bass was a lot more pronounced, but it wasn't a great experience with bass boost. Soundcore signature, it's going to be the best equalizer setting unless you do a custom one yourself, which with these particular buds, the clips, I do suggest using a custom EQ and saving that, because that's going to give you the best sound that you desire, because it doesn't have all those 22 equalizers like the previous buds do and current buds actually have. So it's not bad sounding, but these are more so to walk around every day, answer phone calls, listen to conversations, things like that. It's not really meant to replace earbuds like the Liberty 4 Pros that actually go deep into the ear with noise cancellation and all those features. It's just a secondary bud for like downtime, sitting at work, walking down the street, shopping, doing things like that. It's not to give you the music immersion that you may desire as a music head. So just kind of keep that in mind. So when it comes to the C40i's, let me explain the sound profile for theirs, and we're going to do a comparison to the C30i's. So number one, they did fix the problem with the bass for the C40i's where it does feel deeper and much more pronounced. As a matter of fact, we're going to use Mask Off as an example again. This song, when the bass kicks in, it complements the entire song. It didn't feel like I said in the previous section, that it felt like a stepchild just took you didn't care about him. He's the middle child. No one cares about the middle child. No, it actually complemented the instruments playing in the song. It didn't overpower anything, but you could definitely feel the presence of the bass, which technically envelops you in more music, if you're being honest here. Most people may not say this, but bass is a huge factor when it comes to rock, when it comes to rap, when it comes to many different genres of music, especially when you're playing like pop music and things like that. It's very kick heavy, it's very bass heavy, claps, snares, and things like that. I feel like you hear it better on the C40i. It's like it's meshed out better because every instrument or every quality of sound respects itself. You know what I mean? Like the claps don't overtake the vocals don't necessarily overtake the bass unless the song dictates that it needs to, and that's based on how the actual person makes it. Now, the downside to this is that the maximum volume overall for the C40i's is a little bit lower than the C30i. So to put that in perspective, if you turn the C40i's up to 100%, sounds great. No breakage, no sound. Well, it's going to be sound leakage. People are going to be able to hear the music playing. It's open ear, but I don't feel like the music is struggling. Versus the C30i maximum volume is way louder. Not way louder, but maybe like 10 to 20% louder than the C40i's. Some people may say that's a huge problem. It might be, but the benefits of that is that you won't get ear aches and won't feel like that the sound is too loud in your ears. I feel like the C30i's are meant to sound like the C40i's, but this was more so the first iteration of the buds. But of course, if you turn the C30i's down to like maybe 80% or so, then the sound profile mellows out and it's perfectly fine. So really it's all about fit, feel, and price at this point. And I gotta be honest with you, I do prefer the C40i's because of the design feature and the fact that the quality of music is just better right outside of the box. So just kind of keep that in mind. But again, listen to other reviews. They'll let you know how they feel and, just kind of compare it to mine and kind of get a better understanding, because I don't want you guys to waste your money. You need to buy the best product that fits you. So all in all, I do think that both of these buds are very, very good in their own right, but I do have to give it to the C40i's. They fit better. I do believe the sound profile is a little bit better. I also believe that, with the touch controls, all the quality of life features have been substantially better. And they paid attention to that. Because normally with Soundcore, they make like different iterations of their buds with a slightly different design. But this one right here, they actually said, we're going to look at customer feedback. We're going to pay attention to what people say about the fit and the feel. And then we're going to improve it. And they did that across the board. Now, did that justify $99? Personally, these were sent to me. Now, would I have bought these for $100? It is kind of a hard sell, in my opinion, for $100. I would have probably waited for a discount or something like that. To me, these should have been about $79, $10 more than these. That $30 price tag puts you in a, you can buy Soundpeach, you can buy JLabs, you can buy Beats, you can buy Google Pixel Buds. When you say something is $100, these guys right here, you are comparing them inadvertently to every other headset that is in the same price point. And then what people are going to do and say, well, these buds have active noise cancellation. For $30 more, you can go get the Liberty 4 Pros. So that's why I say the pricing, in my opinion, is a little off. But if we're just talking about the comfort and quality of choices, I have to basically say that the C40i's are better than the C30i's. Point blank, hands down, there's no question about it. Feel better, longevity for the ears, it won't squeeze your ear, you won't have soreness when you take them off. I don't have any of those problems. Any issue I had with the C30i's completely disappeared with the C40i's. They are the superior bud. But if you do have the C30i's, it's not like they're bad. I still use these from time to time. If something was to happen and I lost the C40i's, I'd be right back with the C30i's. And, it wouldn't affect my life that much differently. But to you, the consumer, gotta be honest, get these if you're going to get one of these too. If you're not going to shop around for other companies, then the C40i's are the best to get in terms of ear clips under Soundcore by Anker for now and until they make different iterations of the buds. But anyway, like and subscribe like always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care. Double peace.